Oklahoma City Thunder is back on track, and in what a fashion they've returned in these series. The Western Conference champions have dominated in Game 2 against the Pacers with a 16-point lead, with SGA having a massive performance and proving why he is the MVP of the league. But with so much at stake, how can Indiana bounce back from his humiliating loss? And more importantly, did SGA's dominant performance in Game 2 prove Indiana has nothing to look for in this series? In the second match of the 2025 finals, SGA made sure to dial in and deliver a shattering performance against the Pacers. The MVP did it all: 34 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals, and 1 block. He shot 52.4% from the field while going to the charity stripe just 12 times. All in all, Shai made sure that his team won't go with a 2-0 deficit in Indiana, as he understands how hard it is to come back from such a great deficit. Was the Thunder desperate? Shai had to answer this to Scott Van Pelt from ESPN, and according to the MVP, it's a bit hard to manufacture desperation when it's not organic. Elaborating further on the massive win against the Pacers, in which he notched the 9th straight 30-point game and tied the longest streak in NBA postseason history, Shai said,
"It's hard to win a series losing both at home. It's just hard. You set yourself back so much, and we knew that going into the game. The trick is trying to manufacture that desperation when it's not organic."
That's well said.
But yeah, we had one goal in mind tonight, and that was to get a W, and we did so.
I mean, some things you can't make up. SGA had 72, yes, you heard that right, 72 points through the first 2 games of the series, and keep in mind he's been consistently guarded by Nembhard, who has been doing a very good job on the defensive end. Had it not been for the rare miss he made in Game 1 with 11 seconds to play, costly punished by Haliburton on the other end, it would have been a 2-0 lead for the Thunder. Nevertheless, 30 pieces is something that Hallie does very well, and Rick Carlisle, the coach of the Pacers, said that you can already write up 34 points on his name for the next game. Furthermore, addressing what his team needs to do in order to stop SGA, Rick said, "You can mark down 34 points before they even get on the plane tomorrow, for the next game. The guy is going to score. We've got to find ways to make it as tough as possible on him." One goal in mind, and that goal has been achieved in a very easy manner. Shai's dominant gameplay has proven time after time that the MVP award hasn't been there for nothing. The foul-baiting accusations have started to simmer down a little bit, and SGA made sure to silence the haters with his other intelligent plays on both ends of the court. 4 steals is nothing to joke with, especially when you're carrying your team in the NBA Finals. But what matters the most is that the Thunder responded in a proper way when they were pushed against the wall. The Pacers shot a desperate 34.9% in the opening half, didn't dominate the rebounding nearly as well as they did in Game 1, and didn't get any extra shots. The effort that we saw from the Thunder is the same one that we saw against the Nuggets when they fell 1-0 and 2-1 on 2 separate occasions during the same series. A massive appreciation needs to go to the bench of the Thunder. Alex Caruso and Aaron Wiggins combined to outscore Haliburton and Siakam. No, this isn't a mistake on our end. Caruso and Wiggins had 38 points combined, both playing 27 and 21 minutes each, while Haliburton and Siakam had 32 points, playing 34 and 30 minutes each. It's a massive stat that has been commented on by Shaquille O'Neal, as the former Lakers superstar praised the effort from what he called the super others, further adding,
"Those super others stepped up tonight for OKC."
This is what you call a total team effort. I've been saying for the past 2 games that, Shai Gilgeous, with J-Dub and Chet. J-Dub has 19. Chet has, I think, 15 or whatever. Held them under 20, but then Caruso, super other, and then the other kid, Wiggins, 18. Total team effort they played, but we knew they was going to respond this way. They play well.
And what needs to be said is that Haliburton was, unfortunately for many, nowhere to be found. He's been extremely hyped up after the clutch performance in Game 1, but in Game 2 he just drifted away. Throughout the first 3 quarters, Haliburton only took 7 shots and had visible struggles to strike the right balance between passing and shooting. This is what caught the eye of many NBA experts, including Stephen A. Smith, who went on to criticize Haliburton and address his biggest weakness, further adding,
I agree.
5 for 5 on shots with 15 seconds or left in the postseason. When the rest of the league this year in the postseason was a combined 4 of 26. That tells you who Tyrese Haliburton is and what he's capable of. The problem is those capabilities that you see to him in late game, clutch time, pressurized situation. You are asking yourself, where the hell is that earlier in the contest, particularly in losses where you're averaging about 11 points a game.
Right.
That's unacceptable for a guy his talent.
But if you were to ask the Pacers head coach, Rick Carlisle, he wouldn't be so critical of Haliburton's gameplay. After all, this isn't measured in just points and assists. The 65-year-old has gone on to defend his superstar, further stating, "People shouldn't just look at his points and assists and judge how he played. That is not how our team is built. We've got to score enough points to win the game, but who gets them and how they get them is not important." Once more, the defensive end of the Thunder seemed like a massive force and something that they've been recognized for throughout the entire 2024/25 campaign. And for that end, Haliburton accepted his part of this loss. He needs to do a better job and understand that the stakes are now higher than ever. When you raise the expectations so high in the postseason with your performance, you will draw a lot of attention to yourself. And elaborating on the failure to score and to keep up with the Thunder throughout Game 2, Haliburton was self-critically oriented, adding, "I have to do a better job of figuring out where I can be better. I think through the course of the series or through these first 2 games, I am learning where my spots are and where I can be better." What do the NBA experts see as a realistic outcome after the next 2 games? According to Stephen A. Smith, there is a big chance we'll come back to Oklahoma with a tied result, 2-2 in this manner, because of the massive support that the Pacers will receive from their home crowd. Elaborating further on this, Smith said,
That's why I think you'll see a split. I think it wouldn't be surprised me at all if they came back 2-2. That crowd in Indiana is going to be ready. They're one of the best fans in America, one of the best arenas, fan bases in America. They will show up for their team, and the team will show up for them at least one game. Which game, whether it's game 3 or 4, remains to be seen.
The Pacers know what's at stake. Even though they are the underdogs in this series, they know for a fact that the expectations have been raised extremely high for Haliburton and Siakam. After all, Siakam is the only player apart from Caruso to have experience playing in the NBA Finals. And as Smith said, you can't raise your performance so high and then expect an escape ticket for your poor performance. This is about Haliburton and him missing in action. So with all things considered, the clutch player needs to pick up the pace and establish dominance as early as he can, preferably on Wednesday night. With all this in mind, what do you think about the absolute shattering performance from SGA in Game 2? And more importantly, do you think that the path has been further open for Oklahoma to dominate in Game 3 and steal a win on the road? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, make sure to click on the video that appears on your screen right now.